Hello YouTube, my name's Cyberzan and I talk about anything that you can find on the internet, which is basically everything. Today's topic, Zoo Psychosis, also known as Zoochosis. Zoochosis, not to be confused with the video game, is a form of psychosis that develops in animals held captive in zoos. Most often, it manifests in what are called stereotypic behaviors, or stereotypies, which are often monotonous, obsessive, repetitive actions that serve no purpose. Stated plainly, zoochosis is mental anguish made visible by abnormal behavior, and it is a common indicator of poor welfare. I first learned about zoochosis scrolling through TikTok. I was just laying in bed one day, scrolling through TikTok as we all do, and I saw this really disturbing clip of a bear that apparently had zoochosis. It was this lady who took her kids to the zoo and the bear was doing its little boogie. I was genuinely disturbed by this. I'm gonna show you the clip, and I'm gonna put a sad and disturbing warning on this clip. Something about watching this video makes my bones feel itchy. Like, it's very sad seeing an animal in distress like this, but watching this clip makes my body have some sort of like physical reaction. I don't know if the way its mouth looks or the fact that this thing is just a killing machine that's not all there mentally anymore. Something about the absence of mental clarity or mental acuity in animals is genuinely disturbing to me. Brain damage. Animals with brain damage are fucking scary. Or maybe bears are just really creepy to me. How as a zoo do you let this happen? What magnitude of negligence causes this to happen? These behaviors develop over time. They're not sudden onset. Hey boss, the bear is going crazy again.
Oh, don't mind him. He's just listening to Kids Bop.
Before we move on, 99% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. If you want to subscribe, that would be great. If not, that's also great. What exactly causes zoo psychosis? Well, it's restriction in sensory understimulation. Boredom. It's basically advanced boredom. Boredom is one of the most mentally anguishing things sentient life can experience. Boredom can actually cause brain damage. Yes, you heard that right. Some of you may already know this, but for those of you that don't, excessive boredom can actually cause brain damage in both humans and animals. There's an episode of Vsauce's Minefield where he goes really in depth on boredom. Season 1, episode 1 to be exact. And he explains boredom very well, and he runs a few experiments and proves that humans would rather hurt themselves than be bored. One of his experiments, he has people pressing a buzzer. They know the buzzer buzzes, and then he puts them in a room with nothing other than the buzzer, and people admitted that they would rather press the button and be shocked than be bored. Now, unless you're a fucking barnacle, your brain needs to be doing something. Think about it. All of you that work office jobs, live in Midwest America, you can probably relate to these poor animals. I think for the sake of animal welfare, if a zoo has an animal that gets diagnosed with zoochosis, they should be fined an exorbitant amount of money, and that animal's care needs to be absolutely reassessed. Yes, and zoos do have a purpose. A lot of the times that's where animals go to get rehabilitated, and they get funded by either grants or the money that the zoo generates. However, any of that is completely trivial if you're gonna make your animals go fucking nuts in the process. This disorder was first identified in like 1992 by an animal rights activist and actor Bill Travers, and I've received conflicting information whether or not he discovered the condition or just coined the term zoochosis. And another thing about zoochosis is it doesn't go away. Once an animal has zoochosis, it's there. And if an animal gets zoochosis, sometimes zoos will give it antidepressants or antipsychotics just to offset the behavior. This bear I'm about to show you is exhibiting the same behavior 6 years after being released. This bear thinks he's a 17-year-old with a Mazda Miata in an empty parking lot. He's just going in circles. Look at this excerpt from an article I found. According to Last Chance for Animals, zoochosis can include self-mutilation, vomiting, excessive grooming, cropophagia, which is consuming excrement, you know, poo-poo doo-doo, the type of stuff that your body gets rid of because it doesn't need it anymore. These animals are going so crazy they're putting it back in their bodies. Along with anxious tics that we might see in distressed humans such as rocking or swaying, excessive excessively pacing back and forth, random biting, tongue playing, and twisting or nodding of the neck and head. Thousands of different species are kept in zoos, and each non-human animal has a different way of indicating zoochosis. Lions and tigers often walk front and back in the cage. Giraffes and bears would twist their necks, and elephants would sway their head. A notable case of zoochosis was demonstrated by a polar bear in the Central Park Zoo. After swimming figure eights in his enclosure, sometimes for 12 hours a day, Gus was put on Prozac, an antidepressant, and was treated with roughly $25,000 worth of behavioral therapy. Unfortunately, not all get a happy ending like him. Oh, Gus, we're so sorry we made you crazy. As an apology, here's a folded piece of cheese. Gus got famous because he went nuts. You can go online on YouTube, anywhere you want to go, and find endless videos of him exhibiting this behavior. When Gus was doing his psychosis thing, everybody went, "Aw, cute. He likes to swim. He's swimming because he can't fucking do anything else." Every fucking polar bear I've seen in any zoo is in the bottom of a fucking concrete basin. What is there to do? Not to mention, it gets fucking hot in there. Hell, look at what comes up when you Google him. Gus was a 700-pound polar bear, an icon of the Central Park Zoo in New York City. His exhibit was visited by over 20 million people during his lifetime. He came to public notice in the 1990s when he began swimming obsessively in his pool for up to 12 hours a day. This damn bear got so bored that he swam for 12 hours a day. That's one of the most notable characteristics about this animal. Oh, and it's not like Gus could have been released into the wild, because he was bred in captivity. Gus was born in the Toledo Zoo in 1985. His father Nanook was sent to the Toledo Zoo from his home in the Bronx Zoo for the purposes of breeding. Gus's mother was named Snowball. In 1988, Gus was moved to the Central Park Zoo. Now look at this. This is what they said about Gus's behavior. The zoo had hired an animal behavioral therapist at the cost of $25,000 to determine the reason for Gus's obsessive swimming. According to the therapist, Gus is just bored and mildly crazy in the way that a lot of people are in New York. He ordered an enrichment program for the polar bear that included a redesigned habitat, challenges at mealtime, new toys, and positive reinforcement training sessions. In 2002, the BBC reported that zookeepers had installed a jacuzzi to cheer up Gus. Gus was also the first animal in history to be treated with Prozac. After a few months, Gus's obsessive swimming tapered off, but never disappeared entirely. It's great that Gus got some sort of treatment, but way to undersell it. Oh, he just got bored and mildly crazy, you know, just like all of us, you know. You go swimming for 12 hours a day, right? That's totally normal for New Yorkers. Look, dude, I do the same thing all the time. We're all just like Gus. Nothing about getting tossed in a small enclosure, going crazy, and then getting a band-aid solution sounds like a good ending. Zoo Psychosis leads down an entire rabbit hole of other zoo shenanigans. I'm not gonna get into it on this video because it's just gonna take a million years to talk about. That might be another video down the line. But now I feel incredibly critical of all zoos, and I'm not sure that I ever want to go to another zoo ever again. And maybe I'll just look up cool pictures of animals on the internet or something. I don't know, but I would feel ashamed to even entertain the idea of going to a zoo now. But anyways, if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe. If you don't like the video, dislike and unsubscribe. It's up to you. I can't control you or your fingers. Or can I? Goodbye.